So I'd like to take a quick look at the settings. So come down here to options, and under options we can select override the system location and ensure that we're in an English sense here. Under the map tools, we can select that the measurements should be in feet. So we can adjust this here to get that the way that we would like it. So options, map tools, and change your measurement tools to feet. There we go. We may want to add, for example, a scale here. So this is a decoration. So view decorations, scale bar. And you can see that the size of the bar is 30 feet per mile, and we can enable it, and we want to snap to round numbers. So if we put this on, this gives us a scale bar up here that'll move around as we scroll in or out. So this distance from here to here is 3,000 feet. So it gives us kind of a little bit of an idea of what we're doing. If I roll out a little bit, 0 to 1.4 miles, 0 to 2 miles. So we can kind of get a feel now that this is like a 2 mile by 2 mile section on the planet. All right, we're going to take a look at some of the characteristics of labeling some of the features here. So I'm going to go look at the roads and right click and look at their properties. And we've got the general properties of where the location is and so on. The style, what the color of the roads are, for example, there. And now for labeling. So if we select label this layer, we can label it with all kinds of fields that could be the boundary, or the ID number, street name, and so on. So you can select what you would like to label. So let's just look at the characteristics of labeling. So now you can see we've got some labels on the roads, so that's handy. I'm going to zoom in here. You can see one of the characteristics that looks a little different here is that I've got repeated labels. Soaring hill, soaring hill, soaring hill, soaring hill. There, all these lines are labeled. So perhaps we could look at why is that occurring. So I'm going to go up here to the selection characteristics. So I'm going to select some features. So I'm selecting by a rectangle. So I'm going to draw a rectangle around this area, and you can see what it's done is it's highlighted those values. So now since I've highlighted them, I'm going to go to the attribute table and see what I've got. And you can see that there's a total of 11,000 features, but I've selected 59. So down here in the corner, I can choose just show me the selected features. So these are all the fields, each field here that's identified, and some are empty, as you can see. And the street name, which is what we're looking at, as I scroll down through, you see that there's a number of lines that are identified for the street name. So if I just pick one of them, I picked it by over here in the corner, I can sort of see where that shows up. Okay, so the problem is that under the attribute table we have lots of lines which represent, in fact, where was that one that was selected? I don't see it. I'm going to zoom in right here on this corner, and you can just barely see that as I get really close, that little line segment is labeled Soaring Hill. So that one selection. I'm going to go back to the Harris Hill area. And so the problem is that the as you zoom in, you find out that that's not just one line, that it's a whole pile of lines. And so what we need to do is to instruct the program not to write a label for every one. In fact, here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 soaring hills. And as I get closer, now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, there's a lot more. So it chooses how many to put on there depending on what our zoom factor is. So let's go back and look and see if there's a way to turn this off. So we go to Properties and we go to the label. And down here there's a selection that says Merge Connected Lines to avoid duplicate labels. And so if we apply this, now we can see that there's only one soaring hill that's on there. We also have this selection that's still there that's kind of annoying. So we may come back up here and this says deselect features. So we were able to turn that off and now we're back to having everything illuminated again. So this is a better way to look at this. Now you can see my labels are black here, and the problem there is that if I move over here to, I guess I've zoomed in there too far. If I move over here into this area, you can see I can't read these in here anymore. So we need to be able to find a way for those to stand out a little bit. So I'll go back here to the properties and look at buffering. So there's a number of ways to buffer. One, we can draw a text buffer and make its size, you know, so big or not so big or what have you. And we can change the transparency of it so that kind of looks along that line. Now let's see what that looks like. All right, so now I've got a buffer around those, and you may not like the way that looks, and so you may say, well, let's go back to where it was before, and see if that looks a little better. And so yeah, they look a little better there now. So now I've got a buffer around there which allows me to highlight. And there's a number of things that you can do with these. As you go into their properties, you can do buffering, you can do backgrounds. You could put we could put a background around it, for example, and the background could be a rectangle, and we'll just increase this up a little bit and whoops, and apply that and see. So it looks like we put it on there with a label maker. So around about lots of flexibility in terms of working. We will do another example in a bit on using the SVGs.